Khalid Satary, the most wanted fraudster, nabbed for $547 million Medicare fraud scheme. Hello, world and universe. Welcome to the Trevor Donald Experience, Manifest Your Truth. And this channel is an organic amalgamation for searching, seeking, and finding the truth in this chaotic, confusing, and disruptive world we live in today. So the FBI caught a whale. They caught a whopper for a guy that committed this almost $600 million Medicare fraud scheme. So how did the scheme work? Khalid Satary owned and operated multiple diagnostic testing laboratories across the United States. I didn't realize that it was that much money in these diagnostic testing laboratories or DNA testing laboratories. And I didn't realize there was so many of them across the United States and how they made their money, billing Medicare and Medicaid. And these folks that own these laboratories are making more money than the doctors. Why go to medical school? Just open up a laboratory and get busy. Prosecutors say he conspired with dozens of patient recruiters, telemarketing call centers, and telemedicine companies to run deceptive marketing campaigns that generated cancer genetic test samples from Medicare beneficiaries, tests they didn't medically need. Medicare reimbursement between $10,000 and $20,000 per sample. And through his labs, Khalid Satary billed Medicare for over $547 million. Almost $600 million he billed them. You know how many surgeries an orthopedic surgeon or a heart surgeon would have to do to even bill for $547 million? It would take 5 lifetimes. He allegedly paid millions in illegal kickbacks and bribes to doctors and patient recruiters to keep it running. I had never heard of patient recruiters before. The DOJ has called it one of the largest healthcare fraud schemes ever charged by the Department of Justice, its division and department. So the DOJ caught them a whale, a whopper in this particular. This guy was milking the system like crazy, allegedly. Indictment in flight. So Khalid Satary was charged by indictment in 2019 in the Eastern District of Louisiana. But this is where the story gets interesting. He was released on bond after his arrest. Now, this man has allegedly absconded almost $600 million from the United States government. They give him a bond. Now, you know he's got several $1 million hid. He probably knows people. He's a foreign guy. Khalid Satary sounds Middle Eastern, so I'm sure he has relationships back in the Middle East. They give him bond. And, of course, what do you think he did? He took off. And so they gave him bond. He was released over bond over the government's objection on the condition he stay out of the healthcare industry. So if he got bond over the government's objection, why would the judge give him bond? And look at how much money he stole, or allegedly stole. So he does not give you the appearance that Mr. Satary is the most honest person in the world, and you think he's going to adhere to the conditions of his bond. Absolutely not. And he's got millions of dollars that he's allegedly stole. So instead, prosecutors say he conspired again with laboratories based in Houston, Texas, to continue the fraud scheme, even after being arrested and had a bond. Once a federal arrest warrant was issued in 2022, it was discovered he had fled the United States. Duh. What else you think he was going to do? So his most wanted status began, and this is how it started and how he got captured. Khalid Satary landed on the FBI's newly created most wanted fraudster list with a reward of up to $150,000 for information leading to his arrest. Investigators noted, now listen to this, just as I said previously, investigators noted that he had ties to Delray Beach, Houston, Texas, Atlanta, Georgia, Dubai, Jordan, and Israel. So why would they even consider giving him bond? Uh, and the FBI said he used multiple birth dates from 1972. So if they had all this information that they present, the government had all this information that they presented to the judge still gave him a bond and allowed him out on supervised release. He was finally apprehended by regional partners on July 20th, 2026. And guess where he was found? In the Middle East, found carrying a fake Mexican passport, and he was transferred back to Virginia. So follow the timeline. He was indicted in 2019. So he was on the run for almost 7 years. And of course, he has a Middle Eastern name. He was found where else in the Middle East? And he also had a Mexican passport. This guy sounds like he was a pretty smart guy that decided to take all that positive energy and retort it back into a negative way, into criminality. Just think if he'd have used all this energy in a positive way, he could have had a legitimate company worth $600 million and all the relationships he had built internationally. Did he come from money? Did he come from royalty in the Middle East? I mean, who knows? So FBI Director Kash Patel called it the third largest most wanted fraudster capture in just 5 weeks. This is the third whopper, the third whale they've caught, following the earlier arrest of Herb Kimball in a separate $1.2 billion telemedicine fraud case. So that, as I said, I was not aware of all of these accessory companies that are ancillary companies that are part of the healthcare system that were making this kind of money. I mean, you think about hospitals, you think about doctors, you think about urgent care centers, you think about places like Oak Street Health, that's like a Medicare 65 and over primary care centers. I've seen them pop up in the Midwest, all over the place. But these DNA cancer lab testing places, this telemedicine has been very big in recent years. I had no idea that these kinds of medical ancillary companies under the medical healthcare platform were billing and making this kind of money. This is shocking to me. Why go be a doctor? Why spend the first 30 years of your life studying and doing residencies when you could be creative and open up a DNA lab? I don't know what the prerequisites or requirements are to own a lab, but it doesn't seem like it would be as hard as becoming a physician. So the charges now, Khalid Satary made his first initial appearance in the Eastern District of Virginia. Remember, he had been in trouble in Louisiana. And then here are his charges. This is by chasing the bag by any means necessary, getting your hand caught in the cookie jar. And guess what? Now you got to face the piper. So he's facing conspiracy to commit healthcare fraud and wire fraud, healthcare fraud, conspiracy to defraud the United States, conspiracy to pay, receive kickbacks, and money laundering conspiracy. These charges carry up to 20 years for the wire fraud, money laundering counts, 10 years for the healthcare fraud counts, and 5 years for the kickback conspiracy counts if convicted. Authorities also seized 16 bank accounts and restrained real estate assets linked to him. So for $547 million that he made off the U.S. government, of course, what did he go do? Buy a bunch of things. They always do it. The chase for the bag, the chase for worshiping symbols, idols, material things, and deities is not a God-conscious way to live. And in the end, with all the surveillance technology that we have today, the digital footprints, if you are absconding millions of dollars from the U.S. government or from a private company, you eventually are going to get caught. And he is looking at a number of years in the federal penitentiary. Tell me what you think. This has been the Trevor Donald Experience. Manifest your truth in a positive, righteous, and God-conscious way.